So, did everyone go through the video yesterday? Like I sent it, right? Did anyone get a chance to view that video? Okay. So I mean that was. Do you have any questions from yesterday's video? Since I didn't cover in the class, right, so I was not able to answer your questions. So, do you have any questions? You can let me know. Okay. Okay. So some people have done test plan. Good. Looks good. So I mean, this is how this will be like similar way when you'll be using this. I see. Okay. Okay. So I'll just go quickly. I mean, some few people have some questions about um, mapping document. So I'll just quickly go to that mapping document. Okay.
Sir, I want to know about FreeDCamp. Is it similar to SharePoint, or is it part of SharePoint? Because
Yeah, I mean, this is similar to SharePoint, but not actual the SharePoint. Okay, SharePoint is like you'll be having it's like you'll be using the similar way, but a lot of people will be still using it. Okay, not one or two people. Like there's a complete whole set of people who will be using it. So it is similar to SharePoint. Does it make sense? Okay, so let me quickly go through this. So test plan, right? Okay, let's take, we have this document test plan. So test plan is, it's a high level document. So what is test plan? It's a high level document prepared by the QA lead. Okay, the QA lead actually prepares that document. And now you'll not be sitting idle, of course. You'll be also giving the inputs like what are the features and what are the features that need to be tested, or what are the what is more information that is required for this. Okay, so let's quickly check. So these are what the test plan contains. Okay, so this is like if you're doing like with different types of testing. Okay, if you're doing the different types of testing, right? Like, if you're doing the compatible testing or conformance testing, functional testing, load testing. So you'll be, putting all this information, okay, here. So yeah, pretty, so you may not involved in all, every part of this testing. You may just, involve only some like, functional testing. You might be, involved only in this, okay. Okay. And you'll be involving only in functional testing. So you need to complete that information there, like saying, okay, this is what we are going to approach. Okay, so this is how we are going to work. Okay, so these are all issues, and what are the related to this, what are we are going to test and what we are not going to test. All this information will be there in the test plan. Okay, so test plan.
So there is document for all kind of testings, or
I'm sorry, what was your question again?
no, I'm asking like there will be only one test plan document for you say like all kinds of testing, like say functional regression, unit testing for everything, like they maintain in one test plan document only, or how?
Right. I mean, if it is organized, like if they are like organized, so it should be in all in one test. Just is that whole testing should be done in only one test plan document.
So you mean to say for the whole application, they have only one test plan only, or a document only, or?
That's correct. Only one.
Oh,
And since you'll be working with team members, so many team people, like so many people will be working, right? So they will be all having access to this SharePoint, just like you did. And everyone can download the test plan, everyone can view the test plan and see what's going on and who is working on it, all those things. So everyone will be having the SharePoint access. So that's how you can maintain that integrity.
okay. Suppose you say I'm working in a functional test. I'm working as a functional tester. So like, do I need to update functional part in the test plan document?
So, I mean, as a tester, as a QA, the QA analyst, you are not going to update anything. This is the job of a lead, QA lead. Okay.
Oh, okay, okay.
QA lead, he or she is actually responsible for updating any information in the test plan. So if you have any issues, if you think there is something which needs to be changed, that you need to approach to a lead saying that, hey, this is what I'm doing testing, but this is not appropriate. This is not what's how it looks like. This is different. So okay, should we update the test plan, or do we need to? Then you'll get a response saying that okay, we'll do. We'll check about it, or I'll work on that or something else.
Oh, okay, okay. Thanks.
Okay, so that's test plan, and let me quickly go to this mapping document that someone asked, try to explain about mapping. Let me quickly check. So I hope everyone have access to this Google Drive, right? So, get access to this Google Drive. Whoever doesn't have, send me an email, okay? And go to this directory number 4. We have this system, test cases. Documents, so bring that number 2. Let's quickly check this. Okay. So let me get good document. Okay, so this is looks like a little bit better. This has better information actually. Okay, so this this is a mapping document. Okay, STM, source to target mapping. Okay, so what does it contain? It contains information about the source. It contains information about the target. Okay, again, the source has just because you have tables, you have so many other things, right? You have tables, you have columns, you have rows, you have again, there's so many things here. So let's say here you have BDW. BDW means business data warehouse. Okay, BDW is business. There is also EDW, that's enterprise data warehouse. Okay, so you have this, you have this column, and what is the column? Data type. Okay, again you have this target PK. PK is primary key. Okay, and reference code if there is any reference code. Okay, so all this information is stored in the mapping documents. Okay, what is the target name? All the information about the tables, columns, primary key, natural key, candidate key, if there is any. Okay, all this information will be there in the mapping document. Okay, and so let's say all these are columns. Okay, so BDW target column, so all these are columns. And for this matching is the data type. Okay, what is the data type? Is it a date, integer, varchar? Varchar is actually variable character. Okay, and is it a primary key? So then is also, it becomes a little bit complex when you use this integrated schema. Then you also have this composite primary key, so on. Okay, so all this information should be there here. And again, this was all about the target. Again, you have this for the source. Okay, you have this again source column name, source data type. What is the mapping? So this is like transformation logic. So what's the mapping? So how you're, see, normally mapping is done for the target, not to the source. But sometimes you have these scenarios where you will be, also doing for the staging area. Okay, so source means, doesn't apply directly to the source. Okay, so no, but because see, source is normally the source database is actually the production database. Okay, they might not always use production, so they map. That means they create records from the source and map to the, create some virtual environment and say that, okay, you can use this. Okay, so but normally it should be the production database. Okay, whatever if it is mapped, then it's okay. So you normally don't write transformation logic or SQL query directly to the source, but in some scenarios, of course. In that case, it will be staging area, not exactly the source, unless specified. They say, no, you have to write for the source, then you have to write for the source. Otherwise, it will be in staging, because staging is like similar to source, right? But they remove some of the columns, some of the some of the tables, and put it to staging. So that's how you can use it. So this is STM, okay, source to target mapping document. So it contains all the information about the tables, source table, target tables, okay, and what are the columns, okay, what is it, does it have primary key, does it have natural key, and so on. All this information is stored in the mapping document. Any questions? Okay, so let's move to the next one. So can everyone hear me actually properly today? Is it good today, or is it same like tomorrow? Okay. Okay, so let's move to the next topic, actually agile. So we'll discuss about the agile. Any more questions for yesterday's class? Does anyone have any questions?
This mapping document will be prepared by the developer, or like?
Mapping document is the mapping document is done by the architect people.
So what is the like role of the test? See the mapping document and test like a source and target way. So
right. So as a tester, right, what I want to know is the business logic. Okay. So how should my query how the source query, you see here, this based on this I need to write this query. So here I have some information, right? Set value to party classification CD equal 1. So I need to write a SQL query for this. That means I'll be writing, there is some column name called employer name. Okay, so there is a column name called employment, and I'll just query that and see how it's, and joins, use joins, do write case statements, or do while loops or whatever based on the business logic. So I need to know this business logic as a tester. I need to know what joins I'm using, what joins and what logic I need to use. So that's how it is helpful for a tester.
So what are all documents will be shared with the tester? Like if I join in an ETL project?
So all these documents, you're supposed to know all these documents like test plan, okay, test business requirement document if there is any. Otherwise, this should be good. Only mapping document, that should be good. Okay, don't need any other document basically, unless you want, some specific information. Otherwise, this one document and the other is ER diagram. So, okay, I don't have that ER. So, entity relationship. Sometimes this mapping document is not clear, right? So, the mapping document is not clear. So, you need that, because the way data warehouse is like pretty complex, right? So, you need to know which, where the tables is mapping and where the, what natural key is linked to the which table, how many primary keys, how many complex. So, all this information, right? So, you need to know ER diagram, this entity relationship diagram. Okay, so that you need to check with architect people. Developers don't have. Developers may have, may not have, but they will not give you. You need to request to architect. First, you need to approach lead. Okay, so first you need to approach your QA lead saying that, hey, this, I have some questions in mapping. So can I also get ER diagram for this?
Okay.
So
So
they might
in case of
fair point. That too.
okay, so in case of agile framework, like how it's going to work, like it will be shared, like in waterfall model, like they're going to give us a BRD documents and all those things, but in case of agile framework, what are all documents will be there?
Right, that's a very good question. Actually, in Agile, you may not have all the documents because in Agile, they're trying to eradicate all the documents and all those things. Okay, so only thing you will be having is user stories or the requirements. So only that is now your Bible. Okay, you need to see that user story and understand that user story. Okay, and only then you can proceed with that. If you need more information, you need to approach with the respective developer saying that, hey, this is how it is. Like, how can I get more information on this? Okay, so how is it the design is the same, or like what I'm understanding is the same. So all those things you need to approach with the developer, right? Because there is no documentation. Sometimes, I mean, see, there are agile projects which have documents. There are agile projects which don't have documents. So when you don't have, you need to check with the developers saying that how can we proceed without this.
Okay, I have a query now. Like in this SharePoint, we don't write test cases, but we can use this for test plan only.
So not
Is
only
that so?
but any documents we need to share. So that was just I've told you to put the test plan. Any documents. Yeah, we don't write test cases in SharePoint.
Mm-hmm. So basically, that since I am a BA role person, so I'm just thinking from that perspective. So any team who is having who is doing testing should have both. One for a test plan, it should have a SharePoint or something like that. And for test cases, they should have some testing tools, specific testing tools.
Right. So that's what we can use Rally. So that's what I explained, right? So did you were you in the previous classes, 2 classes? So I explained about the Rally. So that's how for writing test case, editing test cases, reporting defects, all you'll be using test management tool. Okay, Rally. And for sharing documents like test plan, test strategy, BRD, okay, in migration document and so on, you use the SharePoint.
Okay, sure, thanks. And one another question was of test environment. What should we write in test environment?
Test environment. Oh, you mean in this document?
Yes.
Okay, so in test environment, you can see, I mean, you can write like, if there is any specific information related, what are your, who is actually testing? Okay, is it QA or is it development side also testing some part, or, what kind of software we are using, and, all those things you can write in the test environment. If there are any softwares, that specific third-party softwares that you need to use, to test this application? Or are you using any automation tool? Okay, are you using any other specific tool to use? So all this information can be updated in the test environment. Does it make sense? Responsibility. Oh, so this responsibility is like who is assigned to this? Okay, which person is assigned to this one? Okay, this is item to test. What is the description, test date, and responsible person? Like is it QA, is it lead, or is it the architect, or is it developer, or is it project manager, scrum master, so on. Okay, that guy, is the responsible guy. But normally it will be QA. So if there are 3 test items, see, let's say you are lead, right? This all things is decided by the lead. Let's say you are, you have 3 items to test. These are some test description, and then you have 3 people, 3 QA people who is testing this. So in that case, the 3 different people will assign this responsibility. Okay, you are responsible for this item. The other guy is responsible for this item. The other guy is responsible for that. So that's how you can put that responsibility. So name of the person basically. Let's see here somebody. Yeah. So the manual tester, manual tester, or it's automation testers. Okay, this is okay. I mean, this is like being general. That's fine. It's good. It should not be. It's pretty, saying that high level. Okay, manual tester. Okay, if it's automation, then you put automation tester. Okay, and if it is dev team, then you put dev. Dev is responsible for this because it's unit testing. Okay, so on. Okay. Any more questions? Okay, I think everyone has done good. I mean, let's move because we have less time. But you guys have done good. I mean, you can know. Okay, let's go to quickly agile. Okay. So agile is iterative and incremental process. Okay, agile is an iterative and incremental process. So this is not like what we use softwares, right? So softwares are different. So agile is actually the framework, and it's for actually most of the time it is managed by the management people. So they decide, are we going to agile, are we going to waterfall, are we going to helical model, are we going to SDLC, so on. So this is from the management perspective. Okay, but since we are involved in this, we need to know what is all about. Okay, so that is the reason we need to know about the agile. So agile is not a software; it's a framework. It's a methodology where how you perform the work. Like it's like kind of process. The way you do the work. It's kind of saying to layman language, right? To say the way you do the work. So how you want to do the work, you use this agile methodology. Okay, so agile has many many subheadings, subdivisions, like we have this Kanban. Like Kanban is simple, like you move this user story from one unit to, so we have this in Rally, right? So Rally is all designed based on keeping agile on mind. Okay. So Kanban should be simple. It's not that we don't require many people on that to be working on it. Okay. So let's say you want to move this user story, right? So actually this is more designed for the Scrum. It's not for Kanban process. Okay, so if you want to change it, you can change it. accepted or completed. Okay, so that is like Kanban. But okay, so they have this Kanban and you have this Scrum and you have this extreme programming. Okay, Scrum is what we are going to see here. Okay, how this Scrum process involves in Agile. Okay, Scrum is also an iterative and incremental process in the Agile. Okay, so it's also an iterative and incremental process. Okay, let's go to terminology first. Okay, let's learn about the terminology in Agile. So okay. So you have this like Scrum team. So there is a like Scrum team, like team 1, team 2, team 3, which consists of one product owner, one Scrum master, and development team. See, you see here, there is no QA here. Okay, so in Agile, right? So they want to try to eliminate this QA. So, but practically it's not possible because see, always, as I told you, right? Developer always test keeping just business point of view. That means you say all the coding point of view, all coding work and all those things is done by the developer. And QA test as a user point of view. So how the user it's like front end application. So it looks to the application. So developer doesn't do that because it doesn't have time. He only looks to the code and how that code should perform and what's the defects in the code. But it don't know about the front end application. So tester has to be there, because dev team performs testing based on the business point of view, and testers perform testing based on the user point of view, the customer point of view. Okay, so they remove this testing, but at least one person or one guy should be there in the QA, at least one in a Scrum team. Okay, there will be more than 1, 2 people. Okay, more than like 1, 2 people, but at least one should be there. So that's Scrum. Then you have this product owner. Product owner is business analyst. Okay. In waterfall methodology, you call business analyst. Here you call it in Agile, you call it product owner. Same guy. Different terminology. The same job responsibilities, but a different terminology. Okay. So he or she maintains the product backlog. Okay. We'll talk about the product backlog. Okay. So product backlog is like high level documents. We have discussed about the requirements. It's a high level requirement. So here you see this. This is the product backlog. Okay, this product backlog is a high level document. See the the high level requirement, like how it will be, like it might be it can be just one line statement, because the product owner says like I have this GMO online to create an application of GMO online. That's it. That's a that's a high level requirement, because that's a product backlog, because you don't know how many features are required for that. You don't know how many buttons are required for that. How many images are required. Okay, you don't know how many people should test that. You don't know how many developers should work on that. Okay, all those things are not specified in that. So that is product backlog. It can be as short as one line statement. That's it. Yeah, I mean, can anyone hear now? Oh. Yeah, now can you guys hear me? Okay, yeah, this is some issue. Okay, okay, okay. Let's go back to the product backlog. Okay, so product backlog Product backlog is a high level document. So no worries. I mean, I'll give you two videos. Okay, one, one video will be good, and other, if you have it. So whichever is good, you can use it. Okay, so no worries. Okay, so I'm using like in system mic. Okay, that's whatever the integrated mic, right? So I'm using that. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this product backlog is a high level requirement. Okay, product backlog is a high level document. Now it can contain as high level as one line statement. That's it. That means like they can say like GMO online website. Okay, why that is high level requirement? Because you don't know how the application is look like. How many images it has. How many URLs, how many buttons. Okay, how many people should be required for that testing? How many people are required for the development? So on. So we don't know. So that is called product backlog. Okay, that is very high level, very high level. Saying just GMO online. So that means doesn't make sense because as a tester we don't know. So product owner says that. Okay, so all this is designed by the product owner. Yes, product backlog. Okay, then you have this Scrum Master. The Scrum Master. So Scrum Master is actually project manager. Project manager who is in waterfall methodology. So waterfall methodology is the project manager, right? Here in Agile, it's called a Scrum Master. Okay. So Scrum Master. So what's the job of Scrum Master, right? Scrum Master is responsible. Scrum Master is actually the bridge. Scrum Master is the bridge between the developers and testers. Okay. Scrum Master is the bridge between the developers and testers. And is responsible for the whole Scrum framework. So it's like who is performing and who is testing that and what kind of applications. All those information will be there with the Scrum Master. So if you get any impediments, right? Impediment means it's defect. So whatever the defects you call in waterfall, right? Here you call as impediments. If you have any impediments, you need to check with your Scrum Master, and Scrum Master will resolve that issue. Okay. That's the job of a Scrum Master. Scrum Master is the bridge between the developer and tester. Because see, not always. See, whenever you go to the developers, right? So if you say, okay, I have this issue, I cannot, and you say the developer says, no, I don't have time for this. Okay, I don't know, I don't have time, and just if you want, like, check with someone else. So then in that case, you need to go to Scrum Master to escalate that issue, because you think that is an issue. Okay, you check with the Scrum Master, is saying that, hey, this is the issue, this is the impediment. So because of this, my test cases are stopped. Okay, can so can we resolve this issue? Okay, can we resolve this impediment? Okay, yeah, don't worry about it. Okay, just manage somehow. I'll give you better video. Okay, again, if you have any questions, you can call me or email me. Okay, so okay, so So don't worry about it. Okay, so I'll be giving you better video. Okay, and no, so just if you have any questions. Okay, so yesterday's video was good, right? Did anyone have any issues with yesterday's video? Did I it's same? I mean, did I have any voice issues? Because I listened to that video, so I think that was good. I already listened and I was able to hear with with phone, and I also tested with Usha and Renu. Okay, Renu I didn't test it, with Usha I tested. It was good. So yesterday videos was good, yeah. Not okay. Before that it was not good, I think because using this one. But otherwise, yesterday video was good because I was able to hear it. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so Scrum Master. Scrum Master, is responsible for the he's the project manager. He or she is the project manager, and he's responsible for resolving the impediments. Okay. Then you have this development team. Okay, so development team will be having like you might have any developer team like Java developer, okay, HTML developer or web developer, okay, or front end Java developer, okay, then back end developer, ETL developers, any development. So we don't know. It's a cross-functional group. That means any people. So let's say you are in Agile, right? So Agile is kind of teams. It's broken up into, let's say it's a big project, it's broken up into 3 teams. In that case, you might have only 2 to 3 developers. If you need more than that, then you need to approach with the other team and you need to resolve that issue. Okay, so that's how the development team. Okay, it's a cross-functional group. Okay, that means any people can contain. It may contain ETL developers, it also may contain Java developer and so on. Okay, but not more than 10 people. You don't have this Agile more than 10 people. See, you have more than 3-4 people, it's not good. Agile is not good. If you have more than 5 people, then it becomes pretty chaos. Okay, so everyone will do it doesn't good because in that case it's better to do in waterfall. So more than 10 people, I would say personally, I would say more than 5 people is not good. 5 people is good. So you can manage small teams better. You cannot handle large teams, okay? Because large team becomes pretty chaos. You cannot, make note of everyone who is what they are doing, and some people skip doing, okay, so on. So Agile is good for who is working like small group of people. Okay. Then you have this sprint burn down chart, the increments. I told you, right? Increments. You also have this increments. Increments means like defects. It's like you are having like you cannot proceed with that. Okay, let's say you have a defect and you cannot proceed with that. That is called impediment. So you need to check with your Scrum Master and resolve that issue. Okay. Then you have this. Then there is a like burn down charts. Okay, there is a burn down chart. There is a sprint burn down chart and release burn down chart. Okay, so let's how. Okay, so this is how. So this is sample burn down chart. Okay, so this normally the green line is the ideal burn down. This is this is plotted. between the number of days within remaining of efforts. Okay, the x-axis there is the number of days, and the y-axis is the number of hours. Okay, and there's a blue line which is which shows the remaining effort. So not always you have this ideal line, right? So we always have this ups and downs. So these ups and downs is in the dark blue, okay, and the remaining task is in light blue. So this is how they plot. So this is a job of a Scrum Master. So he or she will be preparing this. Okay, so you don't at this moment you don't need to prepare this, because see this rally takes care of this. Okay, you see this report section, go to the report section. You have plenty of reports. So iteration burn down chart, all this information is taken care by all these reports is taken care by the rally. So now no more you need this manual work. In previously in Agile, right, they used to have this manually, plotted that graph, put it, stick on that ball, and it's all like a traditional way of doing. But no more. I mean, if they are doing, tell them to, you have to recommend them, saying that, hey, this is not much productive way to do the work. Okay, this is not how we can do. It's a better way. We have a better way to do this. How? Use the rally. Use the rally tool, or use some other tool. Okay, use some tool to plot this graph. We don't want we don't want to spend the resources on much of unproductive work, saying that, hey, this is this graph, we don't need this anymore. We don't want to stick on this wall and just like doing like the traditional way. It's everything is there in the tool. Just use the tool and give access to everyone. That's more productive way to do the work, right? So you need to recommend, because see, this Agile is new. See, and managers, trust me, managers don't know. You know better than managers, trust me. Okay, even those guys are working from 15 to 30 years of their age in this, they may not know everything, right? So because they hired you, because you have to tell them, not what they have to tell us, right? You have to tell, okay, so this is a much more productive way to do, right? You need to be more productive in this case. So all these charts are done in the okay, so that is sprint burn down chart. See this issue, right? Yes, this has some issue. Okay, somehow this thing got no, it's good. Okay, so that is about the sprint burn down chart. So you have this, okay, and in the similar way you have release burn down chart. Okay, so you also have this burn down, and this so there are many charts actually. This is burn up chart. Okay, this is plotted, x-axis plotted in iteration, y-axis in story points. Okay, and this is like total number, total completed, and this is the forecast. Okay, and so on. So this is like, there are many charts. So here you can see, right, iteration burn down, iteration burn up, velocity chart, iteration defects by priority, release burn up, and okay, so on. Any questions in this terminology? So there are more. I mean, like they keep on coming, like Scrum bot, and you have this velocity. Okay, impediment is like defects. Okay, and new things keep on getting updated in Agile. So Agile is actually in developing, so new things keep on coming. It keeps on coming up. Okay. So we'll just go to this. Okay, we will now go to the meetings. Okay, so there is like you'll be having the 3 meetings. Okay, Scrum planning meeting. So there's like, okay, planning meeting. So there is a planning session. which starts once the sprint starts. So, okay, sprint. Okay, let's talk about the sprint, right? Sprint is time box unit. So sprint normally lasts for, okay, so 30 days. Let's say 30 days. Here you see this sprint. See this sprint. This normally lasts for 30 days. It's a time box unit. So if you're talking about sprint, that means you're talking about time. How much time? 30 days. Normally in days. Okay, it will be days or 2 weeks. So mostly like 30 days. It takes time. Sprint. So so you have this sprint planning. Then you also have this sprint backlog. Okay, you have this sprint backlog. Sprint backlog is the amount of work that has to be done in the sprint. Okay, let's say this you have this product backlog, right? Let's say you have this 4 product backlogs. You have this GM online, and you have this one more. There are 3 other things need to be done. Okay, so let's say one by one. Since this one is too high level, that means you need to do a lot of work because it's pretty high level and nobody knows. So let's say that takes 4 sprint. That means it takes 4 months. That is called sprint backlog. That means this one product backlog will take 4 months. Okay, that is called sprint backlog, and each sprint is of 30 days. Okay. Each sprint is of 30 days, and once you do, deliver this product, so it will be, you will be delivering that product every month. So that's about this agile. So this is the agile. Okay, so this is sprint backlog is the amount of work to be done. It's like, let's say 4 months of work. So that's in the sprint backlog. You have this product backlog is like the amount of work to be completed. You will be dividing this work based on the priority. So whatever the customer priority is, like you will be dividing that work. And each sprint you use it for 30 days. Okay, that is sprint backlog. Okay, so now you have this sprint planning. So now you want to plan, right? You need to plan for 30 days because sprint is like you have time. Okay, you have 30 days of time. You need to plan with that. So how to do and what. So so they'll discuss all about the user stories. Okay, so user story is like so you have this product backlog, right? There is much more that is divided into sprint backlog, and that sprint backlog is again divided into user stories. So that means it is more specific. You're being more specific to that. Product backlog is pretty high level. Okay, now you after that you want to decide how much time will it take to complete the product backlog. Let's say 4 months. Okay, now we have decided time. Now we need to be more specific, right? So that is requirements, user stories. So user stories in waterfall it's called requirements. In agile it's called user story, right? So okay, so here you have this sprint plan. So normally they'll take like they'll discuss all about this user story. So what we have to complete and how much of amount of work should be complete. So it takes like it takes like 4 to 5 hours. The people like will be you see time box for 4 to 5 hours, and they they discuss about all the user stories. So, and they'll make sure that your lunch time. So they'll not let you go to lunch because they will start from 10 a.m. or something like ends up like 3 p.m. Okay, so that it's like complete planning. So one day for every month you'll be having this one plan. So they are actually trying to plan like how the work should be completed. Okay, which user story is being assigned to whom. So all those things they'll be doing in this sprint planning. Okay, any questions in sprint planning? Okay, so let's move to the Scrum. So we have this, daily Scrum. So daily Scrum is a time box unit. So this is like, 15 minutes time. So you'll be having this 15 minutes, normally 15 minutes. And what we discuss in this, we'll discuss what we have you done yesterday. What have you done yesterday? What are you going to do today? And what are you going to do tomorrow? So this, and are there any impediments? Is it something that's stopping you to do the work? Okay, these 4 things. They will discuss in the daily Scrum. And it is, normally 15 to 20 minutes. It doesn't go beyond that. Okay, it doesn't go beyond that because it's daily. So it's a daily Scrum. Daily, you have to give an update saying that what have you done yesterday, what are you going to do today, and what are you going to do tomorrow, and what are the impediments? Okay, what are the impediments that is stopping you to do the work? So okay, so this is how it looks like. You have this, Scrum Master. Here you have the Scrum Master and business analyst, and all the developers and the testers. We'll be having this time box unit. Okay, so that is about the daily Scrum. And then you have this, review and retrospective meeting. So this is, all these are meetings. Okay, so we are discussing about all these meetings. What are the various types of meetings? Okay, this is end of this sprint. Let's say, you are coming to end of the sprint. Okay, and you need to discuss about this, so what they discuss in this is what went good, what didn't go good, how can we improve. So all these 3 things, you discuss in this review and retrospective meeting. Okay, in the review and retrospective meeting, we discuss what went good, what didn't go good, how can you improve. So all these 3 things will be, done in the review and retrospective. Okay, so this is about this. This agile. So let's quickly go. Let's quickly check with the traditional method. So this is like traditional way of doing the agile. Okay, so you have these user stories. All these user stories are here. Okay, so all these user stories, we have this, on the left side, you have all this user story, and this is like, to do. So you have this to do column. Okay, so you have this, 5 columns, right? And you have to do column where you actually, once you have started the work, you put that sticky note, sticky note is the to do. And then once you get into that in progress, then you move the sticky note to the in progress. Okay, and after that testing, and then you put this completed work. Okay, but you cannot start testing once the development is completed. Right, you cannot start testing once the developing is completed. So once the development is completed, then only you can start testing. Okay, so always the sticky notes will move from the side of the developer. So once the developer completes, then you start testing. Okay, so normally, right, you will be having, see, these all are decided in this sprint planning. Okay, in the sprint planning, they'll say, okay, so we have these user stories. Okay, so we have these user stories, and how much time will it take? Let's say they are discussing about the user story, and they'll say, okay, how much time will it take? Okay, so the developer says, okay, fine. That means 3 days for development and 2 days for testing. Okay, so that so they'll say like, fine. Okay, no, we don't have that much time. We don't take that much. Okay, so you need to be. So let's say no. We need that much time because we are working with the third party tool, and the third party should respond, and we need to coordinate with the other team members. to make sure, okay, so to make sure that it's working. So we need to have this. So that's the reason you need 5 days. That means 3 days for development and 2 days for testing. Okay, so that's how all the user stories are decided. So all this is done in the test planning session. Okay, so there is one more actually, sprint grooming, which like sprint planning and sprint grooming, right? So there is one more sprint grooming which is not displayed here. Okay, sprint grooming is also like similar to test, sprint planning. Okay, so what they do is like so whatever the remaining work which is not completed in sprint planning, they will complete in sprint grooming. Okay, so grooming is also kind of like extension for this sprint planning. Okay. Any questions in all this? So this is pretty much about this agile. Any questions? Let's quickly go through these slides. So I'll be giving you homework. Okay, just complete that homework. That should be good. Okay. So why do we need this agile, right? So this agile we need because see sometimes in water, see as per my knowledge, waterfall is good where you use waterfall where quality is more important than cost. So if you are working on quality, you need to work on waterfall because agile is not good. Agile, it's no more quality because you want to complete the work fast because time is less and you do it in hurry. So that's agile. But here you do quickly. Things happen quickly. Just one day. Let's say developer is done. You start testing. The next day you'll be start testing. You'll not wait for 2 months. 1 month just to complete the development again to the move testing. No. Here you just complete your development, start testing. That's it. Finish this, fix the bug, and next build it goes. Boom, it's done. So by the end of 2 days, your testing is done. That means for that user story, you are good. Next user story, next one. Okay, next user story, and so on. So that's what you use this agile. Okay, and all this information is there in this Google Drive. So go to the Google Drive, which is this. Go to 26th directory. All this is there here. Okay. Okay, so yeah. So what are the drawbacks for agile, right? So agile, one of the major drawback is, you cannot maintain quality. Okay, so let's quickly check here. And here you have this. Okay, it has advantages like increasing productivity. That's good. I mean, that is the advantage of agile. But disadvantage, one of the major disadvantages, quality. Quality actually lacks in agile. Okay. And so they say like self-organizing, so that's not true because nobody knows agile. See, nobody knows agile. See, when I was working, right? When I was used to working, so this is all right. I mean, so I used to work in many client places. I almost worked like 8 to 9, companies. Okay, so when I checked, okay, so I know the process like how the agile should be, right? How the agile should be, and so whenever you have this defect, right? So as I told you, Scrum Master is responsible, is a bridge, is a bridge between the software, developer and tester. Okay. So my boss, like, my boss said, okay, so I opened a ticket, there's the issue, and, I opened a ticket saying that, okay, hey, this is the issue. But developer didn't care. He said, no, I don't have time for this. They always end up the same way, right? They have this attitude saying that I don't have time. Do whatever you want. I don't have time for this. So now what you need to approach the Scrum Master saying that, hey, this is the issue what I found and this should be fixed. So you need to, coordinate with the Scrum Master saying it. So Scrum Master should resolve that issue, talking with the developers and, testers and saying that, this is the issue and they have to resolve it. Okay. So what happened, that I gave that to, Scrum Master, and, my boss got angry with me. And now she called me, okay. And she called me on the phone and saying, hey, can you stop at the desk? And she said, like, why are you giving this defects to Scrum Master? Why, so I told her, like, Scrum Master is actually the bridge between, between the developers and testers, because Scrum Master is responsible for fixing the impediments. Okay, then she said, oh, okay. Why? See here. Let me show you. Okay. So I'm not saying, whatever I want. So here you have this, you have this here. So whatever, should be there with the Scrum Master. So this point, self-organizing, is actually not true. Okay, that is a drawback. It's not exactly the. No, Scrum Master is project manager. Okay. Business analyst is product owner. So it's not same. Product owner is different from the Scrum Master. Okay. Does that make sense? I saw that actually somewhere. Let me quickly check. Scrum Master. Here is responsible for Scrum framework, making sure it works correctly and maximizing its benefits. Right? That's the job of Scrum Master. And okay, so they don't know. That means your boss don't know. Trust me, your boss don't know anything. You need to educate your boss. You need to tell them, okay, this is right. To evidence, you can show this URL saying that, hey, look at this. I'm not saying myself. This is not something I invented. It's already there. So look at this Scrum Master. So when I told my boss, she said, oh, okay. Then she realized and she changed the whole team, and everything got changed. Okay. So that's how. So you need to, because you're a technical guy. Manager is never a technical guy. Normally managers are never a technical guy, unless, some places. So I've also seen the managers who are technical, normally for the development team side. So they are pretty good technical. Otherwise, project managers, developers, testers, those guys are are technical people. And this management, your boss, your director, so those guys don't know anything. Whatever you say them, they'll believe, or they may not. So they'll not believe. Then in that case, you need to show them some evidence saying that, hey, this is how it is. No, I'm not saying mine. No, I didn't invent anything new. Here it is. So that is the disadvantage, not organizing. So they don't know. So it's not organized. So technically, this is, I don't agree for this. Okay, but yeah, of course, if you want to put self-organization, you can go ahead. I have no issues with that. Okay, and each time, okay, this is advantage. Improve communication. Okay, you can say that. Okay, and these are the advantages and disadvantages. Violation of responsibility. Okay, current, and also your quality. Quality is actually pretty much hampered in this agile, because see, someone will say, okay, I have tested this, so you don't have to test because this is already tested by other team. this application you need to test. Okay, go on. Okay, so you can have this document. So you can go ahead and read this document. If you have any questions, call me. I know the video is not good. I'll give you better video. Fine. Okay. And yesterday's video was good. I know I have personally I have listened to that. I mean I listened to that and it was good. So don't tell me that yesterday's video was not good. Okay. Okay. From starting these videos are not good. Okay, I agree with that. I'll give you better videos for all those. Okay. So don't worry about it. If you have any questions, email me or call me. Okay. If I don't respond to the call, make sure you email me so that I'll call you back. Okay, whenever because sometimes I'm outside it, sometimes I'm not of that. So you can better email me. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? So questions, question is completely, in the interview is completely different. Okay, so it's not like how many questions or something like, it's the representation skill. The interview is kind of, representation. How are you representing, yourself? That's about the interview. It's not about the questions, what they will ask. The way you talk is more important than what they ask. Okay, so you have to know this. The way you talk is more important than what they ask. Okay, so because the attitude, the way you speak, the way you talk, the way you represent the skills, that shows your experience actually. Okay, so these technical things, just leave it aside. That is like completely different, that you'll be only doing only when you're in job. But the interview is like completely different. Here's the thing, right? Attending an interview is completely different thing doing your job. Okay, doing your job requires technical skills, but attending an interview may not always require technical skills. Okay, you might give some technical jargon and they might get impressed and they might hire you. So that is the two different things. Okay, so interview, you need to be more, the way you talk, the way you use those jargons, all should be there. Okay. So it's not necessary what they ask, it's all about what you talk. Okay. Let's say, you're giving an explanation about the project. Let's say you're doing about the, agile, you're talking about the agile. And, you give like at least for 5 to 10 minutes and, they might get impressed. And, okay, they might ask you questions, few questions. Okay, they might be asking 1 question, 2 questions, 3 questions, that's it. Based on that, they might judge you. Okay, saying that, okay, this much, you know this much. Okay, so it might not necessarily always, what the question asks. It's always how you represent it. Okay, that is the way you have to answer in the interview. It's more of a representation skills. Okay. Okay, any more questions? Let me quickly check this. You guys have another class, right? So let me. Okay, so any more questions? So if no one has any questions, can we close this class for today? Okay, I mean, you guys have done good. I mean, it's very good. So, okay, thank you guys.